Dr. Shannon PT here today with another episode of Need to Know in 5. Today we're going to be discussing products with a purpose. As a mom and physical therapist, I'm in a situation like a lot of other families out there where we're trying to manage working from home and also dealing with our children. And so I wanted to take some time today to talk about when you're in these different unique situations that maybe you haven't planned for, of how to take advantage of them, and maybe they offer some inspiration and guidance to maybe something going on in your life that you can do to make things a little easier, maybe for you and your children. So I was in that situation a few years ago. My husband was in the military and I was caring for 2 young children by myself. And so at that time, trying to manage getting dinner ready, taking care of the kids, the pets, everything else with just me, it was a lot. And I found that I needed to do something to really help my second daughter learn how to walk. We had the other products, they weren't working for her with our carpet and tile floors, and so I had to figure out a way to make things easier and more ergonomic, not only for myself, but also for her. That's where I came up with my first product, the little balance box. I was trying to figure out what I needed to do to change what was already out there, what I could do to make things different, to solve a problem. And that's where a lot of things come in as parent inventors. We see a problem and then we look to retail and we search the internet to find what's out there to make things easier for us and for our children. And for me, when I looked for a push toy and baby walkers, I didn't find anything. Either the seated walkers had the bad rep of not having your child sit in them, or all the push toys, every time my daughter moved from carpet to our tile floors, she would move too fast and face plant. With that in mind, I set out on a mission to try and design something myself. Something that would address all of these problems that I was finding as a parent. What's unique about the little balance box, as you can see, it doesn't look like your traditional push toy. It has a different layout on the top, it's made out of bamboo, and then it has springs in the feet. So not wheels, which makes it very different, but it makes it work wonders on your different floor surfaces. It works on your carpet, tile, and wood floors, and it basically keeps the same speed. So that's a way that I took the problem of not having a great push toy to use in my house and make something and design something that I could use to work on all my floor surfaces in my house. The next thing that I came up with is the dual function, because I figured if I was making it, what better thing to do than to give it 2 functions. This way, it was something that was going to last in my house for much longer than a couple months. So with the dual function flat surface, it makes a great toddler table. So that's the other cool thing, is when you are designing and inventing things on your own, you think about all of these different things of, if you are making a product, how can you make it the best for what you're trying to solve, or how can you solve a couple problems at the same time with one product. The other product that I then came across that I needed to invent was Hativity. So I started off with the little balance box, and I never thought that I was going to design anything else past that. Little did I know, as my children got older, I was going to be dealt another situation that I had to work through. Being a mom in SoCal, we always have sun, and we're always exposed to a lot of sun here throughout the year. And so for quick trips like going to the grocery store, my kids never wanted to lather on the sunscreen for those quick in and out visits, but it was still important for them to get sun protection, because it does add up over time and over the days, even those quick trips of running in and out from the car to the different shops, for example. I found that I was always carrying sun hats with me in my bag, and they were always taking up a lot of space. Then on top of the sun hats, my kids were always asking me to carry maybe their iPads or their toys or their crayons, markers, papers, all of that, all in my bag. And I don't know about you guys out there, but as my kids were getting older, the last thing I wanted to do was to have a diaper bag that was starting to get fuller than it was when I actually had babies, with all of their other stuff that they were asking me to take with us when we went to the store. So I started looking into my bags, and I was like, I always have a hat. What can we do to make this hat a little more fun and entertaining for you guys because we always had it with us. With that in mind, I set out to design the perfect sun hat. And the first thing that I always found was with sun hats, they always flopped in the front brim. And that was one of the biggest factors that my kids, I always had to fight with them wearing it because they didn't like the fit of traditional sun hats and it flopping in their face. Being the inventor that I am and starting from scratch, I said, okay, if that's a problem why kids don't like to wear sun hats because it flops in their face, what can we do to solve that problem? There's no reason to make the same product with the same problems. So that's when I decided to add a non-flop brim, so it's similar to what a baseball cap has, where it will stay out of the child's eyes and won't obstruct their visual field. So this was great. Now I had solved that problem of making a child more comfortable in being able to see when they're wearing a sun hat. The next thing I thought about was the creativity and design aspect for a child, right? So what's a great way to have a child take ownership and possession of something? Well, it's to give them that opportunity to create and design something. And so with our different textured Velcro patches, it was a great way to allow that creativity and to incentivize a child to want to wear and interact with a hat. Then, with the different patches, we set out to do different textures and collections. So not only is your child having this creative aspect, but now they also have that interaction and socialization that comes from playing and interacting with the patches. And it's also great when I was going to the supermarket, because now not only did I have optimum sun protection for my little ones, but now instead of them going through the checkout lines and touching all the different foods and everything and putting holes in packaging, now they had something that they could play with each other and different textured patches and stuff like that to interact with. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time on another episode of Need to Know in 5.